Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
How's it going?
It's going great.
I love when you're getting ready to hit that record button and we look at, our eyes lock. We're like, okay, let's go.
The magic just pours out,
Oh, yeah. The listeners can feel the lack of planning that we do.
What are you talking about, Greg? Hours and days and weeks of planning.
Hey, I spent 5 minutes on the internet.
Only 5? I think the average U.S. citizen spends about 13 hours a day on the internet.
What's going on?
It's getting warmer. We've had sort of the ups and downs of the spring in Pennsylvania, but
three seasons in a week.
Yeah. But that warm weather, I think, is helping with baseball.
Oh, yeah.
The baseballs are starting to fly out of the park, and
not my team, but sure.
Yeah. I was feeling good week 1. I thought I had a solid team, but it's been downhill since then.
Oh man, my offense is stagnant. We're talking about our fantasy baseball team.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you? I don't even know, what place are you in?
I know I'm like 2 or 3 behind you.
Okay.
So I think last week you were 2.5 games out maybe, and I was like 5. And then
okay.
I think now I'm like, maybe you're down to like 4 games out.
I think so.
I'm like
I
maybe 7 or 8 games out. But yeah, I've just had weeks where I'm just getting 0.
It feels like offense is, and I don't know if this is true across baseball, at least for my fantasy team.
Yeah.
But like offense is dead. I'm batting like, almost 200.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But, we're getting into the fun part of the season, and, things are starting to happen. So,
yeah, like you said, it gets warmer and balls start flying over the fences, and it'll be good.
Yeah. But it's been good time for the old Philadelphia Phillies. They've been tearing it up.
Nice. They're in first now, right?
First. I think they're first in the entire league. I think they're first in the NL, but I think they have the most wins across baseball right now. So
now that's a little different MO for them, because they're normally the let's wait till September before we decide to play our best baseball. Do you think that'll help or hurt them?
I don't know. It's hard. I mean, you always have that fear that they're getting hot at the wrong time now, and at the end of the season they're going to fall apart. But the fact that even if they play 500 baseball till the end of the season, they'd be like in the high 80s probably.
Mm-hmm.
If they go 10 over 500 baseball, they'll be in the high 90s. Like that's good for them.
Yeah.
If they could somehow break 100, that would be unbelievable. So we'll see.
Hey, anybody but the Braves.
Absolutely.
Yep. We can agree on that.
So anything else happening here?
Oh my gosh! So I decided to join a gym.
Okay.
And my oldest son took me, and he's really into fitness. All 3 of them are, but he's really into working out and stuff. And he's like, all right, Dad, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do leg day. And it's now 3 days later, and I still can't walk. It hurts so bad.
Yeah. I think there's so much out there right now as far as like, workout programs and different things you can do. But the reality is, if you haven't done it in a while, those first days they're rough. They're really rough.
I was supposed to go today, but the podcast was a little more important.
Well, Joe, as soon as your dad gets home, put him through the paces. No, that's funny. Yeah. I mean, this time of year, I think it's, for myself, it's always sort of a pickup, the pace of what I've been doing. Because I'm, coming out of winter's slumber.
Yeah.
And lethargy. But, I've been working out and running a lot more. And trying to get ready for pickleball. Don't want to pull a hammy.
That's what that was my goal. I mentioned I finished physical therapy, and I was like, all right, now I'm going to do it. And here I am. And I'm like, oh, man. Do I really want to play pickleball?
Yeah, we got to get out there.
That's it.
But all that, it's not why we're here today, right?
Nope, I don't think so. Why are we here today, Tim?
Well, we're rolling fast into the middle of the year, coming up to June.
Crazy.
And June is a fun time of year, regardless of the year that it is. But we're going to jump back in time to the year 1994, 30 years ago.
Good year.
Yeah.
Definitely. June of 94. A lot was going on, man.
Yeah.
Very cool time.
Absolutely.
Great time. Movies and music. What do you, we haven't done a month review in a while. What do you want to kick it off with?
Well, I think it'd be fun to go back and look at some of the movies that were going on back in 94.
Some pretty good ones.
Yeah. What do we got?
First one was a little movie. You might not have heard of Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Tom Hanks, Sally Field, Gary Sinise.
Right. I think it's stood the test of time, that you can show it to anybody and it's still fun. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy in its, relative idea of somebody that would be tied to so many critical points throughout history, but it is fun to watch.
It was also, I for me, 94, the way that they used CGI in such a way to manipulate old footage.
Yeah.
And inserting Forrest Gump into the footage to kind of recreate history a little bit. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the character was so unique, and he was, obviously he was unique just in his persona and his personality, but how everyone kind of gravitated to him and grabbed hold of him. And I remember going back, obviously, to the time when this was in the theaters.
Yeah.
How many people would throw out a Forrest Gump quote, it'd start raining that summer and everybody was like, well, there's all kinds of rain, a big old fat rain that come up from underneath, stinging rain, and I mean, I haven't done it in years, but I feel like that for many years after, the life's like a box of chocolates. And everyone gets that quote wrong because I think it's one of the Mandela things that the quote
what does he say?
Is different. Honestly, I'll have to dig it up, but I feel like what we all say is actually different than what Forrest says in the movie. So I'll have to dig that up by the end of the episode.
That's a good one. Or the, going along the same line, the shrimp, fried shrimp, boiled shrimp. And he goes on and on. Yeah. It's so good.
There's so many great quotes from him.
So good.
So after Forrest Gump, there was another film that was pretty big. Speed came out.
Nice.
A little movie with Keanu and Dennis Hopper and Sandra Bullock.
Sandy B.
Yeah.
We just mentioned her I think last episode.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about the Net.
That's right. Yeah.
That was kind of in the same time frame.
How good was Speed?
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah. But it was good, and it was one of the. I think if I'm thinking back correctly, I think I've won 3 things off the radio in my life.
Oh yeah.
Speed tickets to go see it. Not a speeding ticket. I've gotten a few of those, but tickets to see the movie Speed, I won off the radio.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and I think my quote when I was, they'll put you on the radio when you win, was that Sandra Bullock didn't really do it for me. Which in retrospect, I don't know. I think I might change my opinion a little bit. But
tune might have changed. What a fun! That was a fun movie, though.
Yeah.
I did that one does hold up. I did show that to my youngest William quite a while ago, but he thought it was at least watchable and fun and stupid.
Yeah,
which they don't say a lot about our old movies.
Yeah, but I think it's great when you can have such a simple concept. I mean, really, the entire movie. I mean, there's scenes that are outside of the bus and everything, but the majority of the movie is central to that one thing.
Yeah.
And somehow they write enough dialogue and have enough interest to keep us in our seats and watch it. But yeah, it was good.
It was a good movie. Yeah. Up next, The Lion King.
Ooh.
How awesome was The Lion King?
I think it's funny how often this sort of character, as he grows up throughout the film, there's sort of it's a brief period where they show him, as the young lion, and then he kind of becomes the teenage lion, and then obviously the adult version. I feel like there's been numerous times in TV shows and movies where they make reference to the teenage Simba.
Yeah.
They're like, people were like attracted to him in like a weird way.
Well, really?
I'm trying to think of a specific example. I know I've heard that though, where there's like a female character and she's like, I was always a little bit attracted to the teenage Simba, and I'm like, what?
Okay.
Yeah. But I thought it was kind of cool though how they did do that portion of the film where they did the transition as he grows up, but they did it in a somewhat quick way, but it had relevance to like growing up.
Sure. And just the Timon and Pumbaa might be the 2 of the best side characters in all of Disney. This quote unquote sidekick.
Yeah.
They were so funny.
They were. And the uncle. I mean, Scar being,
he was so cool.
Who he was and the way that, his character played such a critical part in the film.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the better films of that time from Disney and the animated world. But
being a little bit older, we were scarred by The Never-Ending Story and Transformers. I think that maybe the little bit, people coming behind us might have been scarred by Scar killing Mufasa.
Yeah. Well, we were at the tail end of our teen years, so we were able to handle that a little bit better than when Transformers
I should ask my younger cousin if, real little, she probably saw it in the theaters. She'd be like 7 or something like that. I wonder if that's like one of those, oh my God moments,
I'll have to ask my sister because she would have been 9 or around 9 when that came out. So yeah, I'll have to ask her how much that affected her.
Traumatized.
Although she was probably just watching The Little Mermaid over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't see The Lion King until later
on. There were a couple other movies, nothing really good. I just thought it was kind of funny that they were still making Police Academy movies in 1994. This one was called Mission Moscow. Yeah,
I'd be hard pressed to remember if I saw it or not. I mean, the early ones I loved.
Fantastic, right?
But yeah, by that point, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I can't believe I remember the name of this. I think I stopped after the third one, Citizens on Patrol. Remember that?
That one was pretty memorable, though. That whole moniker of Citizens on Patrol was so a big part of the dialogue in the film.
So
anyway.
Dumb. So dumb. I'll never forget. Somebody said to me, I think it was my dad. He's like, yeah, they could probably rearrange the order of that movie, like 80% of that, the order of the movie, and it wouldn't change the outcome.
That's probably pretty true.
Any other of those movies ring? Anything else there in those movies? There's not a lot of. Not when you're going up against Forrest Gump, Speed, and Lion King.
I mean, I think that pretty much sums up the movies from June. So what about music? What's going on in music?
A little bit music coming out.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, I will debate this. I'm more of a STP fan than a Nirvana fan. But I would hazard a guess you're more of a Nirvana fan, or who would you say out of the Seattle grunge was your favorite? Was it Nirvana, Soundgarden?
I mean, Nirvana definitely was. I think I identified with Nirvana more for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, STP was really, really close. I mean, I loved the sound of Scott Weiland's voice. I would emulate or try to imitate it as much as possible. But yeah, Nirvana, for whatever reason, I just, I grew my hair like Kurt in
just like
college. I wore the baggy pants and the sweater and the whole thing.
Sure.
But yeah, STP definitely was right there with them.
Yeah, I gravitated more to STP just because they were a little bit harder. A little bit more of the rock.
Sure.
Yeah. Not that Nirvana didn't, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So they put out, the reason I mentioned that was because they put out their Purple album. Yeah. Very good. Very good album.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of fond memories of listening to that.
Most definitely.
And I'm going to venture to say, I know we've done our ticket episodes where we go back and look at, different shows we went to, but I'm pretty sure I saw STP at the Mann Music Center.
Oh, cool.
Probably in 94 if I had a picture.
Did you?
I saw them twice actually down there, but I think they might have, I think the first show I saw was down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never got to see them, sadly. No.
Yeah, they were very good. So there were some other albums that came out that honestly I have zero recollection of. So I'm just going to throw this one up. Caius, Welcome to Sky Valley.
Yeah. I didn't recognize that one from the list either.
I mean, I pulled it up on Spotify and just to see did it ring a bell or anything, and not at all.
No, huh?
I mean, they were kind of like a rock sound, but which surprised me because I thought maybe it'd be something I would have potentially heard, but nothing.
The one I know, Warren G, Regulate G, Funk Era. I'm sure that was on a few house parties I went to.
And it's funny because Regulate was like. It was such a memorable song, but then Warren G just kind of disappeared.
That was it, right?
I mean, in a lot of ways, I don't know the story, but thought he would stick around a little longer.
A little bit,
or at least not that he didn't stick around, but that he'd have more, like major airplay kind of thing. Yeah. Beck put out One Foot in the Grave.
I was never personally a big Beck fan. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I could appreciate that he was like unusual and did some stuff that was creative, but Loser being the song that everybody knows.
Sure.
I never really was huge into him either, that I got a lot of his albums and listened to him heavy, but
I thought it was kind of funny that you've got a lot of alternative music and stuff coming out. Lush with Split, but this one, the fact that there were still some of those bands from the 70s and 80s clinging on is pretty funny. Boston put out an album, Walk On. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts put an album out, Pure and Simple, and even John Mellencamp put an album out with Dance Naked. So it's kind of interesting to see that, when you think about the 90s, I just always think grunge, but it's only 4 or 5 years after the 80s, and so there's still other bands kind of hanging out.
Definitely. And one of those bands that I guess kind of fit more into like the grunge era was Helmet.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, I think it was their prior album. And I just saw, I think they're playing locally.
Oh, really?
And I thought, is Helmet, 30 years later, Helmet is, maybe they've gotten back together to do a little reunion tour.
Sure.
Or maybe they've been making music this whole time, but
30th anniversary of Betty.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm going to go see them.
No.
I mean, really, Meantime was the only, the one song that I was really into. So.
Well, we could do the top 10, unless there was other albums there that you felt...
I think, maybe the only other one worth noting was Rancid. I remember,
sure.
sort of like in the, sort of punk style, and they kind of popped up there for a little while and had some mainstream hits and stuff. So,
yeah. All right, so top 10?
Top 10, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. We're doing our best Casey Kasem voice. This is Casey Kasem. It's the top 10 from June 4th, 1994. Coming in at number 10, Back and Forth by Aaliyah. Nope. Don't know it.
Number 9, You Mean the World to Me by Toni Braxton.
Nope.
No.
We just mentioned this. Regulate, Warren G, and Nate Dogg.
Yeah. Coming in at number 7, Don't Turn Around by Ace of Base.
My guilty pleasure. Coming in at number 6, Baby, I Love Your Way by Big Mountain.
Remember that one?
I think I do. If it's the song I'm thinking of, yes, I do.
I think so. I think I remember it too. Number 5, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World by Prince.
Nice. Number 4, Return to Innocence by Enigma. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember a bunch of my friends, they had a video they had to do for, I want to say, like modern world history or something like that.
Okay.
And so they did like an opening scene where they just had all this slow motion video, and they were playing the Enya song in the background. It was really funny, and super low budget because it was all shot on like a handheld VCR tape camcorder. But yeah, the Enya really really brought it together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's sum up.
I think so.
Coming in at number 3, The Sign by Ace of Base. 2 top 10 hits. Can we not deny them for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Come on.
Well, somebody hasn't seen The Sign yet, so they haven't gotten the nod. And coming in at number 2 was Madonna's I'll Remember.
All right, nice. She's still hanging on in there in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then number 1 hit, I Swear.
There it is.
By All for One. I'm not singing anymore. That's it.
That was pretty solid. I feel like every senior prom probably had that play at some point.
I think that, at the end of your prom, at least when I was, it was always, for whatever reason, Stairway to Heaven, right, was the last song. I think it got replaced by this song.
Yeah, I just remember, I don't know if it was at the prom, but I definitely remember in some of the like junior high dances that they do the Stairway to end the dance.
Yeah.
And they'd be turning on the mercury vapor lights in the gym because everyone, is leaving. And so you're out there dancing. You're only about 5 minutes into the song. You got a couple minutes left, and you hear the buzz of the lights are coming on. You're like, do I just walk off? Do we stay to the end?
Yeah. All right. So those are our top 10 from June 4th, 1994. Do you feel old yet?
Not as old as I thought I would, but mainly because most of those songs weren't the music I was listening
Exactly.
to.
Yep.
So.
You want to do TV? Skip over TV? What are you feeling?
Yeah, let's just run through a couple of them. Since we're in the 90s, I think back when we were doing this the last time, there was so much overlap, but I think this might throw a couple new shows in there. We'll see.
Yeah, all right. So on Monday nights, we had not a bad lineup. I don't know if I would call this can't miss TV, but Murphy Brown. I think the only reason I remember Murphy Brown is because of that Seinfeld episode where Kramer gets on Murphy Brown. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Nice.
Blossom and Northern Exposure.
All right. I think I feel like I watched Murphy Brown and The Fresh Prince. Probably I don't know if they were back to back or not, but I feel like I watched those shows.
Okay.
So on Tuesdays we had Full House.
Name that theme song. Name that address.
It took me forever to get there. Roseanne, Coach, NYPD Blue, and Tales from the Crypt.
I like Tales from the Crypt. I love that little creepy dude.
Yeah.
The voice, the stupid jokes.
Yeah.
On Wednesday nights, we had Dinosaurs. I did like Dinosaurs. The Critic, Home Improvement, Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, and an NBA game. Just so happened to be this week. And the Rockets beat the Knicks 85-78.
Okay. I feel like Home Improvement was a show that I really watched a ton.
Yes.
I really, maybe because Tim Allen was, his name was Tim. I always thought he was famous for the name Tim. But yeah, I thought that was a good show. I really liked it. On Thursdays, we had Picket Fences, The Simpsons, The Sinbad Show, In Living Color, Herman's Head, Mad About You, Wings, Seinfeld, and Frasier.
Now that is can't miss TV.
That is. I could be wrong about this, but I feel like at this point, my dad had gotten a TV that had picture-in-picture. And so we'd have the little picture-in-a-picture of one of the shows that was on the other networks that was on at the same time. We'd be flipping back and forth, and we thought we were the coolest people in the world that we had picture-in-a-picture.
I never had a TV that had that, but I was always curious how that worked. On Friday was a little show called Family Matters, Boy Meets World, one of my all-time favorites, X-Files. And then also that happened to be that night when I looked this up was the Knicks came back and beat the Rockets 91-83.
I like that we're keeping track of the games that were going on. Lee and I were talking about the X-Files just the other day, and I was saying how I don't remember all the, there were a lot of shows that were very unique and interesting, but the specifics of them don't really stick in my mind. But there was one where they were tracking the chupacabra, I think down in Mexico, and it walked by in an alleyway, and for whatever reason that episode really sticks in my mind as one of the creepier things that they tried to track down.
Pulled out, yeah. Arguably the best episode is the one called Home, where they I think it's down south or somewhere where there's an inbreeding family.
That's funny. Lee actually, that was the one that she said stuck in her mind. But there was one of them was hiding under the bed.
Under the bed on those gym. Remember when you were in gym and you played the game on the roller carts or whatever they were.
Yeah.
And she's wheeling around the house. Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. This is making me think though, how, I know we've talked about it before, but that anticipation of the night of the week because of the show that was on.
Yep.
And it's just gone.
I don't go out Friday nights because I'm home watching X-Files, man.
All right. So Saturday we had Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Walker, Texas Ranger, Cops, and America's Most Wanted.
Nice. Cops was always great for late, as it was on in repeats, it was on at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're put on Cops. And Sunday night, we wrap up with America's Funniest Home Videos. Bob Saget was the best. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Murder, She Wrote. Martin, Married with Children. And George Carlin Show. Anything there you liked?
I know we would watch Married with Children.
Yeah.
But even at 18, I feel like it was always a little uncomfortable watching it with your entire family.
I never watched that with my parents.
I don't think my mom ever enjoyed the fact that we were watching it, but she'd still, I think she'd watch it with us, even though she didn't like it.
Talk about an Archie Bunker could never get away with it in today's environment show.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it wouldn't fly.
No.
All right, so in addition to the TV, we had a couple events happening in June of '94. Touch on a few of those. On June 6th, a 6.0 earthquake followed by an avalanche destroyed parts of Colombia. About 1,000 people were killed.
Oof, terrible. I just put this one in here because it doesn't make any sense to me because I don't understand cricket. So on June 6th, West Indian cricket batsman Brian Lara hits world first-class record 501 not out and 390 runs in one day for Warwickshire versus Durham at Edgbaston, only quintuple 100 in first-class history. Come on, get a real sport.
You could have been speaking French, and I would have understood probably about the same amount as what you just said. Yeah, I don't know anything about cricket.
No. Other than when I was on a cruise. And, the television is usually whatever's in the area, I guess, or whatever it is. And they had cricket on TV. And I'm trying to watch it. And I could not figure it out for the life of me. I had no idea what was going on.
It is funny. Well, and it does remind me. I just saw it was on Instagram. There was these two guys that they made up a game
Yeah.
that is sort of inspired by cricket.
Okay.
But the game is completely ridiculous, just to illustrate how ridiculous cricket is. So they had like a front door, just the frame with the door out in a field. And after they'd hit the ball, they would walk through the door, stand there for a few moments while the other guy did something else, and then they'd be released from the door to come back out into play. And just, it was bonkers ridiculous, but it was not that unusual compared to some of the stuff they do in cricket.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So.
Did you read Calvin and Hobbes, the comic strip?
Off and on. I wasn't like a devotee that watched, would read it every time.
He had something created called Calvin Ball, which had no rules. It was like, you hit the ball and you're right. Like, it was just pretty much what you just described with the door. Yeah.
That reminds me, I just came across this video. This was, I don't know, probably, let's say 5 or 7 years ago. It was a really nice night out. We were all just kind of out, and we invented broom ball in our driveway. And I videotaped it for whatever reason and put it on YouTube. So all 4 of us had brooms, one of which was like a whisk broom, like the little handheld brooms, because we didn't have 4 full-size brooms. And it was just like a tennis ball and like hitting a ball around on the driveway and stuff. But it was fun. So if you're ever in the need of a game, check out Broom Ball on YouTube. So. Anyway, so back to the events of June.
Yeah.
On June 7th, A's outfielder Ricky Henderson stole his 1100th career base.
Which leads our thing, if you ever have a trivia question about stolen bases, the answer is always
Ricky Henderson.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, this next one, did you mention something about this to me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I don't know much about this, but June 8th, mass murderer Joel Rifkin was sentenced to 27 years in prison, which means he got out 3 years ago. I just want to point that out there.
Okay, so I will temper what I say in case Joel's listening. No, the thing that, when I saw that, it made me think of something funny, which obviously, mass murder is not funny by any means, but there was an episode of Seinfeld where Elaine is dating a guy named Joel Rifkin.
Oh, yeah.
And so throughout the episode, she's trying to convince him that, he should change his name to something else. So these are some of the back and forth between he and her. And so Elaine had suggested a name, and he responds with Ned, like, are you kidding me? And she says, what's wrong with Ned? Ned's the guy who buys irregular underwear. Next. So then Elaine offers Ellis, and he goes, Ellis? You might as well go with Alex. It's the same thing. And she's like, Ellis and Alex aren't even close. He goes, next. Oh, what's the point? No, come on. Okay. Remy, she says.
Remy.
And he says, Remy Rifkin? Should I get a beret? And they go on and on, with all these different names and stuff. But I thought it was the way that they rolled that in. There's even a point where they're at a baseball game, and I think Kramer was supposed to get a ticket, and he didn't have what he needed. And so they announce over the entire PA, will Joel Rifkin please report to the will call booth? And he gets up, and everyone's looking at him, and Elaine's like, it's not him. It's not the murderer.
This makes so much more sense now.
So I've gone 5 minutes on Joel Rifkin.
There you go. The Joel Rifkin podcast.
Yeah. But anyway,
maybe we can get an interview.
No thanks.
Hey, Joel, what are you doing, buddy?
All right. Let's see. What do we got here? Okay, so on June 11th, the largest popcorn container was constructed. It was 39.115 is that feet? Yeah, feet long.
Yeah, 39.
20.85 wide and 8 feet high in Jacksonville, Florida.
Nice.
And it would contain 6,619.76 cubic feet of popcorn.
Very specific.
Yeah. Just like cricket, a lot of information.
On June 13th, a jury in Anchorage, Alaska, blames recklessness by Exxon and Captain Joseph Hazelwood for the Exxon Valdez disaster, allowing victims of the oil spill to seek $15 billion in damages.
I didn't realize it was that high. That's a I mean, it was a huge. I mean, when you talk about oil spills, like everyone immediately thinks of the Valdez.
Exxon Valdez, yeah.
But 15 billion, wow, crazy. What else we want to pull up here?
Oh, here we go. June 17th. We just mentioned this, Tim.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson doesn't turn himself in on murder charges. L.A. police chases Ford Bronco for 1.5 hours before he eventually gives up. All displayed live on national TV, but unfortunately, he didn't get to do the interview with Bob Hoskins.
Bob Costas.
Costas.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is. Yeah. And another Seinfeld reference.
Yes.
I just watched the episode where Kramer is playing golf with his buddy, and then he ends up killing the guy at the laundromat, I think, or something like that. And then in the end, the episode ends with what is supposed to be Kramer and this guy driving down the highway in a white Bronco. So that Seinfeld, always trying to connect it,
yeah.
Anything else good here? What do we got?
The Rockets did beat the Knicks 4-3 on June 23rd for the 48th NBA championship.
Which is somewhat relevant because the Knicks have been irrelevant for such a long time.
Yeah.
And they've successfully beat the Philadelphia Sixers and are moving along, it seems like, at a decent pace. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do anything this year.
Yeah.
Not that I want them to because, they're the Knicks. But let's see. June 27th, Aerosmith becomes the first major band to let fans download a full new track free from the internet.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
That was news to me. I didn't remember hearing that, but I wasn't really on the internet in 94 that much, to be honest, other than email.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been that fall. Sorry, the fall of 95 was when I got like my first computer at college that actually had access to the internet.
Yeah.
So I don't think I was even aware.
Pretty forward thinking for Aerosmith.
Yeah, definitely.
I did find out the name of the song. I didn't even know the song was Head First.
Okay.
And it at the time 10,000 people downloaded the song via CompuServe subscribers, and it took 90 minutes to download the song. Can you imagine 90 minutes to download like a 3-minute song?
Yeah. It's funny though, because it was a couple years later. This would have been post-college, so we're probably talking like early 2000s. But the internet speeds were still pretty slow, like maybe 50, 56
right,
or whatever. Yeah. Modem might have been the fastest. And I was taking a guitar class at like a local community college with my roommate. And so I was going to miss one of the nights, being at the class. So I thought, I'm going to record myself playing what we were supposed to learn for the class and email it to my teacher. So that night, my roommate is there, and he said the teacher was like, yeah, so if I don't get back to you guys on email, it's because one of you guys tried to email me this giant file, and it's taken forever. And I was like, you are welcome, Mr. Metzger. So.
And did you pass the class?
I mean, it was basically like an audited kind of class.
Yeah.
It's not like really counted towards anything. It was more like, do you feel like you're better at the end of it than you were when you started? So, which I do think it did help me like kind of get over the hump of being willing to be bad and play bad and just keep playing until I got good. But yeah, so slow internet speeds in the early 2000s.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I think we should wrap it up with the last day of the month, June 30th. The U.S. Ice Skating Federation would officially bar Tanya Harding.
Oh my gosh.
For life. Yeah.
I remember Tanya Harding.
That was crazy. I mean, you think of some crazy sports things that have happened over the years, like, Tyson biting off Holyfield's ear.
Yeah.
Tanya Harding hitting Nancy Kerrigan with a pipe, or I guess it wasn't
she
actually
hired
her, but she hired somebody to do it. Like, they're up there in like top weirdest, most bizarre kind of activities by a professional sports figure. Yeah.
And I thought what was so weird about the Tanya Harding thing was what they didn't have the actual incident on tape, but they had immediately after. Right? Remember, you could hear Nancy Kerrigan going, why?
Yeah.
Like, that's freaky.
It is.
That it was that, like, somebody just had a camera and turned it on. And
yeah. Especially then. I mean, now it's like anything happens, you've got 78 people with their, different angles of it happening.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, back then, not so many people had the camera at the ready.
Yeah, going along with the watching OJ, the Bronco go down the highway. Like, it really was, everything was starting to become live.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to sort of the end of the pop culture parts of
Yeah.
June of '94. But it was a big month for me. That was the year that I graduated from high school.
Woohoo!
And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to just sort of read this little bit from my yearbook from the class of '94.
I think so, yeah.
So I'm just going to read this. Thank you, sir.
We all need flashlights now. We can't read anything in the dark.
Yeah. All right, so this was, and we all shine on in student life.
Very cool.
Welcome to the world of student life, the world of laughs, parties, movies, and friends. In other words, the best times of our lives.
Oh.
These are the days to hold on to create the memories of hanging out with friends and enjoying student life. No matter what everyone is doing, it really doesn't matter as long as we aren't in school. Students can be found doing tons of things, whether it involves skiing trips in winter or going to the shore in the summer. Who can ever forget these days we create as teenagers? Cheering at a football game on Friday night to support the team we love, or beginning each Turkey Day with the last game of the season. And beyond sports, many are found enjoying half days at Pizza Hut, definitely, or the mall. And what about the bonfires or Mario's? Mario's was the pizza spot that everyone went to. There are so many awesome memories friends create each and every day, only to realize what these memories mean after the years go by. So remember that this is our time to celebrate in student life, our time to shine on. So
nice.
I thought that was interesting because here we are 30 years later.
Yeah.
And everyone always says, high school is the best time of your life. But I would argue there's a lot of really great life after high school as well.
Absolutely. I think that it's the freest time of your life. I mean, zero responsibilities.
That is very true.
I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah. I think the one thing that would be amazing is that if you could have the perspective of the, 30-year later version of yourself to be like, you know what? I need to enjoy this a lot more and not care at all about what anybody thinks or anyone, does, and just enjoy yourself more, because it's fun as you get older, but it's also a heck of a lot more responsibility that comes with it.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
And college, you definitely party more, but you have grades.
Yeah.
You're building, you're beginning your quote unquote life from that point on. High school, it's just
chill.
Yeah. I try to impart that upon people, my kids, like, enjoy the moment, You don't wish away your time.
Yeah.
Because I would give anything to just go back and not worry about bills and
Yeah. I also think it's crazy too, like some of those friendships that, were pretty strong friendships. Maybe, let's say you met them in junior high, so maybe 6 years worth of, your life. And then in some cases, you go off to college, you move to a different part of the country, whatever. And you might be connected now with social media and stuff. But as far as like actually seeing that person, hanging out with them, having a true connection, like that could be gone, So, and I'm not saying that to be like, but it is kind of weird that like, you move on with your life and some people just, you still have that memory of them and you have that memory of the time that you spent together, but like that relationship is gone, which is pretty nuts. So.
And pretty abruptly, really.
Yeah. Because,
the end of the school year, then you have the summer, but you're going on family vacations, you're doing this, and then you're off to college. Yeah. And like you said, you try to connect and you try to see people when you can, but it doesn't always work that way, does it?
That's true.
Yeah.
So all you young kids out there, enjoy your time in high school.
That's so true.
Yeah. So anyway, but it was cool to go back and relive some of June of 1994.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can't get enough Latch-Key Dad content? Well, check out latchkeydads.com.
That's right, Greg. On our website, we've got a plethora of photos from each episode, as well as other interesting links to content that we talk about on the show.
Yeah, Tim, I really enjoy all the pictures that you put up there, as they really bring the episode home.
Yeah, I guess I'm not afraid to show those embarrassing photos of my childhood. So, we encourage you to check out the website, latchkeydads.com, for all that content.
Excellent. And if you have a moment, check out our shop page where we've got really cool keychains for sale. If you don't know what to get your dad for Christmas, the holidays, Father's Day, birthday, check it out. It's a cool gift. Tim, did you know that listeners should like, review, and subscribe to the Latch-Key Dads podcast?
No. But now I know.
Knowing
Knowing is half the battle.